Hey ladies and gentlemen, how you guys been doing? Welcome. Today we're going to be basically going through team analysis for the week 4 as we're going to be facing a guy which logo pretty much spells Pyroar. Yeah, Pyroar. So, okay, let's go with that. Anyways, my opponent is going to have Mega Venusaur, Manaphy, Arcanine, Porygon, Z, but not really, it's actually Porygon 2. Actually, the text he's got going there really makes it hard to tell. So, I don't know, like, if my opponent is hearing this, but that 2 right there, that really looks like Z. And for a second I thought it's Z until somebody actually fixed me on that. And Porygon 2 is completely different than Porygon Z. But then again, it's my bad. But still, Slurpuff, Metagross, Flygon, Hitmonchan, and Electivire. So basically that are his mons, and we're gonna go directly into our Pokemons and what our Pokemon are meant to be doing and what not. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's go right into it, shall we? We got Ninetails. Now, looking at his draft there, I don't see a single, and I actually mean it, I don't see a single Pokemon that whole Select Berry and Ninetales. I'm probably gonna change that because it's got not, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know, maybe it can work, especially against Earthquake and Mega Venusaur, but generally speaking, I'm looking at Ninetales right now, and I don't see, on his side, I don't see too many switches outside of Arcanine. Now, what do I expect him to use? I expect him to use Mega Venusaur, of course. Manaphy, Arcanine are no-brainers, they're always good with Fire, Grass, and Water Core. Then we got, I would expect Porygon 2 to come in because Porygon 2 is so bulky, it's ridiculous. Then he's got Slurpuff, which I'm debating if he's gonna bring, because Slurpuff is a one-tail, one kind of trick pony to a certain extent. It can set up Calm Minds, but it's mostly about Belly Drum and can become a little bit hard to do, especially if you got priority. But then again, I don't expect him to bring, but I could be mistaken. Metagross, we actually made an exchange. I got myself Cabalion. I gave him a Metagross and got myself a Cabalion, because Cabalion is a good Pokemon. And I do have Hariyama, but for some reason, that whole close comment, and not having, it's kind of hard to say, but I think Cabalion is an excellent Pokemon, generally speaking. Flygon, I also expect Electivire. I got Rotom, but, without Rotom, like, if he doesn't have Flygon and Electivire, that's going to be very questionable, because Rotom can just spam wall switches. He doesn't have a single immunity Pokemon towards it. So I expect at least one of those two, but, something is definitely going to be lacking. Anyways, for that, of course, Solar Beam, Heat Wave, outside of Arcanine, everything else is gonna get decimated by this. Nasty Plot Substitute, maybe I should run Hidden Power Ground instead of Substitute, but just in case I can set up against it, because I could Glare on Serpera, I can get some paralyzations as well. It could just work. But that is basically our Ninetales for that team. Enough speed to basically speed tie with the likes. It can outspeed Arcanine without going for extreme speed. It can outspeed non-choice Scarf, Jolly, Flygon, but then again, which Flygon isn't Scarf, generally speaking. And it can speed tie with the likes of Timid Manaphy, and if I can get a Nasty Plot there, Solar Beam may actually just one-shot it, and that is what I'm in for. Metagross will normally get outspeeded without the Gillagross being a thing. And, generally speaking, Hitmonchan is also going to be outspeeded because most of them tend to be Assault Vested. So this our Ninetales, pretty much a no-brainer. We're gonna go into our next Pokemon. We got Cabalion, Justified, but he doesn't have too many Dark type moves going on for him, so we're not gonna be playing with that. We got Chopaberry. Actually, thinking about it, yeah, we got Select Berry on this because I don't know, shits and giggles, I guess. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna replace with something else because really Select Berry, well, Substitute Select Berry isn't too bad. So I get that. I put that aside. I felt I had a berry that weakens earthquakes, but I didn't. Anyways, we got Cabalion here, Chopaberry, so I can take Earthquake from the likes of Mega Venusaur and Flygon as well. I got Sword Dance set with Stealth Rock. Stealth Rocks can put him off a little bit to give him thinking I'm a Volt Switch Stealth Rock or just a typical defensive tank. But I got SD, Close Combat Ironhead, which is basically more than plenty to go against his team. Ironhead handles Slurpuff, and Close Combat basically handles just about everything else aside of Mega Venusaur. And that's about it. Sadly, it's kind of surprising, but looking at his team, he doesn't really have a really good defensive core. I mean, he can play defenses to a certain extent, but if I put up the rocks, his defensive capabilities are being heavily crippled, and he's actually extremely weak to the likes of setup like this. Just a combination of Ironhead and close combat really shows that it's really hard to find a switch for the likes of Cabalion. I was debating whether or not should go Choice Bandit, but then decided to just go Chocoberry, to take an Earthquake, and yeah, that's basically about it. So if I can get an SD up there, I can potentially free shot a Mega Venusaur, or I can flinch him as well. And Mega Venusaur cannot really one-on-one this on the switch as I get an SD up there. Outside of him going for the Sleep Powder, or maybe having like a Protect Lead Seed set or something like that. But generally speaking, he's going to be in a pickle because this thing is very fast, generally speaking. And I've got enough outspeed, Jolly Nature, Timid Nature, a Manaphy as well as Jolly Nature, Flygon. After that, all the rest is put into HP and attack because basically speaking, if something's going to be Scarf, it's going to be outspeed, and his team isn't the fastest team out there, so I can definitely avoid overdoing it with speed and put that aside and put into something else. So Superior, ladies and gentlemen. Okaberry to go against Arcanine. I got Hidden Power Ground. If I could get a Leaf Storm, Hidden Power Ground, if I could get some Stealth Rock support there, I may potentially one-shot him depending on what kind of spread he is. I got enough speed to outspeed, I believe. This time, I believe I got enough speed to outspeed an Adamant, max speed Flygon, because now I'm starting to believe that I should probably be thinking about outspeeding an Arcanine as well, but it's okay. We're just gonna go with that. Gonna put a lot into HP as well, because I'm thinking if he's gonna run and Jolly Flygon with Scarf, I would imagine he's gonna run Adamant. So just in case. Plus I got Glare. Glare normally is gonna paralyze even a ground type Pokemon because it's not an electric type move. And for that can definitely work. It's a 100% as well, if I'm not mistaken. Kick Drain to regain health to take on Flare Blitz from the likes of an offensive Arcanine and basically one-on-one that threat. Because it is a threat. If I can handle that Pokemon, I may have an easier time. Especially if I can get a Sun Up, then Arcanine can definitely become a huge problem. Mega Venusaur as well as Arcanine both have Morning Sun and Synthesis, and those things can definitely benefit from the likes of Sun. But looking at his team, I kind of still want to bring Sun, A Leaf Storm against the likes of, generally speaking, Porygon, is not gonna like switch into this. Ice Beam can potentially two-shot me depending on the EV spread, but looking at it, this thing is gonna become a huge problem if I get some paralyzation support and whatnot. So looking at this team, there's really not many switches for this. Hitmonchan can come in if it's Assault Vest, take a Leaf Storm, but then another one is going to do a lot of damage. I can drain after that, take an Ice Punch from it, and proceed to go from there. So an excellent Pokemon, really hard to handle, but very, very one-trick pony. So Hydreigon, I was debating whether or not he will use that Slurpuff there. Again, the speeds are enough to outspeed. Normally a Jolly Flygon is going to speed Hydreigon anyway, so I decided to go with enough speed to outspeed an Arcanine, basically, so close combat is not gonna hit me before I hit it because I'm Choice Specs, Draco Meteor. I debate whether or not he will use Slurpuff, but I believe he will because he doesn't have too many switches against a Specs Draco Meteor. I got U-turn for the likes of that, Fire Blast for the likes of Metagross. Venusaur doesn't like to take a Specs Draco. Nothing truly likes to take a Specs Draco after I mentioned the Pokemon he's got. Again, Mega Venusaur, Manaphy, Arcanine, Porygon 2. Porygon 2, I guess, is the one exception. Slurpuff, Metagross, Flygon, Hitmonchan, and Electivire. So, again, questionable. But that's basically for this. Pretty much a self-exploring set. Tornadus, Superpower Knockoff for the likes of Porygon, Air Slash, Heat Wave, Assault Vested. The spreads are basically, heavily into attack and special attack, basically, something like this. And everything else is pretty self-explanatory. It's a full-out offensive Assault Vest going against his team. It could be very detrimental. I need to be fast because it's a Camtasia right now, and I got only 1 minute to go before it shuts down. So we got Choice Specs Rotom, the most important Pokemon on this draft, because you see he doesn't have a single immunity to likes of Ghost outside of Porygon 2. If he doesn't use that, I can just spam Shadow Balls and pretty much clean house. So this Rotom is important. Choice Specs, I decided to go Specs because Arcanine Extremes. Just generally speaking, I need the strength, I need the power against Metagross setting up. Basically being the setup for the likes of spamming Shadow Balls and whatnot. I think this is going to be a very important Pokemon. If he doesn't have Flygon or Porygon, I can generally just spam Shadow Balls and go from there. So Porygon, Rotom is a huge essence. But how this match is gonna turn out, we're just gonna need to wait until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I only got 10 seconds left. Thank you much for watching. 7, 6. And until next time, take care of yourself. Peace.